Peter Coffin, he's a journalist with over 250,000 YouTube subscribers, podcaster, and author. In their book, Custom Reality and You, they explore a world where profit is the driving force. Peter, welcome to the show, man. Joe Biden was talking about this being the concerns of America being an oligarchy. He referred to concerns about lying to the American public and that social media companies were no longer dealing with fact checking. He pointed out, I played the overwhelming majority of the speech. Apparently I got annoyed at various parts of the speech and gave my interjection in it. How you doing this morning, man? You doing all right?
I'm good. I apologize. A little late. I had a brain fart about the time zone here.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I was going through the news that was taking place in regards to the Gaza or the Hamas Israel truce that's apparently on the table that Donald Trump pushed through. Give me your take on that. Let's start on that for a moment. All the reporting that's coming out is that Trump was instrumental in getting this deal. Trump was the one that pushed this deal through. You can look at sociopath Matt Miller himself. Even he, still under the Biden administration, is stuck saying this.
When it comes to the involvement of President-elect Trump's team, it has been absolutely critical in getting this deal over the line. And it's been critical because obviously, as I stand here today, this administration's term in office will expire in 5 days. And one of the things that we have always said about this deal is that when you get from state.
And I'll go further. Even though Joe Biden was trying to take credit for it, this is Netanyahu. Prime Minister Netanyahu spoke this evening with U.S. President-elect Donald Trump and thanked him for his assistance in advancing the release of the hostages and helping Israel bring an end to the suffering of dozens of hostages and their families. So Netanyahu, when he gives credit to one Donald Trump, not Joe Biden. And I can go further with this. I mean, the articles and the reporting that was coming out, for example, this article right here, I believe this is the Independent. Trump credited for ceasefire breakthrough as U.S. official who resigned over Gaza war slams Biden's inaction. And look at this part in the header. Officials said the breakthrough came with Trump applied pressure to the Israeli government, something Biden was unwilling to do. So the publications and the media is pretty clear that this is the Biden administration. Here's another one. Truce talks aided by Trump's pressure amid Hamas weakness, diplomat says. Like over and over again, all of these publications are pointing out that it was Trump that did it, not Joe Biden. I want to point out something else.
The Times of Israel even said something.
Even the Times of Israel, they had an interview with Jack Lew, the ambassador, and he pointed out that Joe Biden at no point put pressure on the Netanyahu government any way through. Here's another one. Right here, it says Kamala Harris paid the price for not breaking with Joe Biden on Gaza. New poll shows 29% of non-voters who supported Joe Biden in 2020 said the U.S. support for genocide was a top reason that they set 2024 out. This is according to a YouGov poll. So all of the reporting is making it clear that it was Donald Trump that was applying pressure that got the deal over the finish line. Even the article that came out that I was pointing out the other day, where it said, I think it was Haaretz, Trump forced Netanyahu to accept the deal that was on the table that Netanyahu wouldn't accept for the past year. So now Joe Biden is trying to step into it like he had some say-so in this, despite the fact that all the reporting is pointing out that it was indeed Trump that got it over the finish line. Here's another one.
We have to acknowledge also that the reporting is not, it doesn't trend towards supporting Trump.
No, they're complaining. Like Channel 4 News was complaining. They was like, we didn't think that Trump was going to do this. We thought Trump was going to allow us to continue the killing. But Donald Trump got in and basically forced us to take the deal.
It's amazing because on one hand, you have Biden attempting to take credit for it. And you have a lot of like Kamala and Biden supporters on social media complaining, Trump is inflating his role in this. And then you have the media, which is essentially crediting him for it.
Yep.
And I've seen a narrative around it where this is somehow a bad thing. And it's amazing. I mean, obviously, for the war hawkish people in the establishment, it is a bad thing. They love the war. They love killing, because killing is good business. But yeah, it's astounding. I've witnessed this. It's insane, because you think, as you said, if you're reporting that Kamala, and this is 100% true, we can all be very smug about this because we said this the whole friggin' time.
Yes.
Kamala needed to have a different position on Palestine than Biden.
Yes.
You said it. I said it. We've said it to each other.
Look, if you remember, Donald Trump was going to the Arab community saying, I'm going to end the war.
Yes.
That's Trump's point of view. I'm going to end the war. And you go to Kamala Harris, and Kamala Harris is like, I don't have a different policy than Joe Biden, and I would not have had a different policy than Joe Biden. So not only can I not articulate anything different that I would do on this issue, I would have basically followed in line with Joe Biden over this issue. Now, they said after that, well, she didn't want to break away from Joe Biden. Okay, well, that means she didn't want to win the race.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. The thing is I said this a couple of times. Do they really want to win, or do they want to be able to fundraise for 4 years off Donald Trump? Hey,
Yep.
Because it seems like they're happy with either. If they win, great. If they lose, great. They can fundraise off of how much they've trained their followers to hate Donald Trump.
And this is Joe Biden. I think this was yesterday. Listen to this exchange, because they point out to Joe Biden, hey, Joe Biden, who do you think should get credit for this? Listen to what Joe Biden said.
It will hold. I'm confident. Thank you.
Folks, credit for this, Mr. President, you or Trump?
Is that a joke?
No, it's not a joke. No, it's not a joke.
I mean, when you have literally everybody who has any information on the events crediting Trump, and it's not like I'm sitting here. I don't want to be like, hey, look, Donald Trump's the guy. Like, that's not. It's never been my agenda.
That's not where we're at, right? Yeah,
it's never been my agenda to be like, Donald Trump's the guy. It's always been like, Donald Trump is telling us he will do the bare minimum, and you're not. Why?
Yep.
That's been my point the whole time. And here he is. He comes in, and he's not even president yet, and he's done more than they have in 4 years. Because it's not like this started on October 7th. This isn't something new. It's from the 1940s.
Yep.
They had we've had so many administrations that haven't bothered trying. He comes in and he's not even president. And he's like, I'm just going to see what I can do. And boom, something.
Yeah,
it's frustrating, in all honesty. And I understand why some people might have the impulse to be negative about Donald Trump doing this. But the fact is, materially speaking, we need peace talks.
Yes.
Not just there, but on the Korean Peninsula. We need peace talks everywhere. And he's the only one out of those two who is even vaguely interested in peace talks. And it's not necessarily for the right reasons, but I don't care. I don't care what the reasons are. This guy, he's a bit of a narcissist. He likes the idea of being remembered as like this genius who fixed America. And it's not necessarily like that's a great reason, but I kind of don't care when we have a ceasefire in the Middle East now. It's like, it's been the whole time they're like, we're going to get a ceasefire. We're going to get a ceasefire. We're not going to put any pressure on Israel for it, but we're going to get one eventually. It's going to happen. And then he comes in and he's like, Israel, shut the fuck up. And it happens.
Right. It's just, God, man, it's astonishing, because you think of all of those people that got killed over the time frame that they just wouldn't put pressure on Israel.
It's
like you're talking about tens of thousands of people. Like Lancet is talking about 100,000 people slaughtered. And over the course of the time frame, Joe Biden is like griping, complaining, bitching, but under no circumstances using the actual levers of power to do anything about it.
And that's the thing that drives me the most nuts about it. It's not like Israel controls us. We're the ones sending them tens of billions of dollars. We have the thing that said, we have the button to press that says you don't get that anymore. Like, we're the ones with the leverage, and they're just like, well, you know, I don't like what they're doing out there, killing all those people, but I don't have any control over them. It's like they wanted people to be killed or something, and they just didn't want the blood on their own hands, on our military's hands. It's like they wanted the plausible deniability of some third party that's quote unquote uncontrollable doing it or something.
It's amazing. It's just utterly amazing. Now, as I was pointing out to the audience, it doesn't mean that this is going to last.
No,
There's several moving parts that it could fall apart on, but it's the fact that they were able to get them to agree to it at all. And look, man, Israel has broken deals before. I mean, they've been breaking the deal with Lebanon. So yeah, it's clearly, I get the cynicism that people will have with this, especially with the Biden administration, who kept saying we're close to a deal, we're close to a deal. Hamas is not accepting the deal, despite the fact that Hamas was the one that was saying, yes, we will take the deal, and they wanted to take the deal for the last several months. No, it was the Biden administration just not putting any pressure. I mean, if you lie on everything that comes out, so a kid gets killed and it's like, well, Israel is going to do an investigation. We'll wait for their investigation. And you do that for like a year. What this keeps happening over and over and over again. If you point out that Israel is starving this population, they're committing a genocide, and you have all of these human rights groups saying it, even the government itself saying it, and the government, meaning our government, Joe Biden, Blinken, changes the context of the report because they don't want to own up to the fact that Israel is starving the population. You're giving them weapons, you're giving them money, you're giving them political support. And then the question comes in, what incentive do they have to do anything if you're going to continue to give them this stuff with a blank check? And the answer, of course, is nothing. And so, you know, we'll have to see how this pans out. We'll have to see if Israel stands by the deal, and when they break the deal, whether the U.S. would actually lump in on the side, meaning how wedded to this deal and to the notion of Donald Trump ending this conflict will the administration be? I mean, because Donald Trump's ego could get involved, and he's like, yeah, I want to end the conflict. This is, you know, I said it's a deal. It's going to be a deal. Or it could be the same way with the Biden administration, where they murder a baby, and Trump is like, well, that baby was kind of dangerous, so, you know, that soldier had the right to get that baby in the face. We don't know which one.
I hate to laugh at murdering a baby, but I mean, the way
that
you're not wrong about how you put it either.
That's the sad part, right? It's like you would get this reporting out of like the Washington Post. The soldier valiantly defended himself against this 6-year-old who looked very dangerous at that soldier. It's like this valiant defense of Israel from babies and kids. No, they would put that stuff in a heartbeat. One of the things that I pointed out to the audience, I have been looking for this clip, and I want to get your take on this. I always say it's one thing for what a person actually believes, 3 a.m. between them and their God, versus what they say. Now, Donald Trump has gotten nearly $100 million, or at the very least was promised $100 million. I don't think he got that much from Adelson's wife, Miriam Adelson. And the entire point of her getting that money was she wanted Israel to annex the West Bank, in addition to bringing on these creatures that Donald Trump added in his administration. But before any of that took place, Donald Trump, in an interview, said this. When I heard this, I got to be honest, my mind was somewhat blown, but it does add context to the Jeffrey Sachs clip that Donald Trump in his Truth Social. This is Trump.
I think it's a terrible personal trait. I haven't spoken to him since, right? I didn't talk to him. I thought he wanted to make a deal more than Netanyahu. And I will be honest, I had a great meeting with him, Abbas, right? I had a great meeting with him, and we spent a lot of time together, talked about many things. And it was almost like a father. I mean, he was so nice. Couldn't have been nicer. And after meeting with Bibi for 3 minutes, I looked at him and said, you don't want to make a deal, do you? And he said, well, And the fact is, I don't think Bibi ever wanted to make a deal.
Why?
I thought the Palestinians were impossible, that the Israelis would do anything to make peace and a deal. I found that not to be true.
Isn't that amazing, considering the way Trump has been running and the people he put into his administration? That 3 a.m. between him and his God, that's probably what Trump knows.
I mean, it sounds to me like these MAGA kids who are talking to these Chinese people on Red Note. And they're like, I've been lied to this whole time.
Right. Right. He's like, they got healthcare, they got education. Oh my God.
I saw this one video of this one, like, she was apparently a conservative woman, and she was talking about how they can't believe we have to work 2 jobs here to keep a roof over our heads. Like, they're just shocked by it. And she was like, just absolutely pissed at our government.
Yeah.
But it sounds like that to me. Trump sounds like that to me. He's like going over there. He's like, I thought that it was going to be one way and it's the other. It's like, it's just, that does shock me. I'm not going to, I haven't heard that clip. And just to be completely clear, that's something I would never expect, because it's more or less Trump saying I was wrong, which is not something you hear out of Donald Trump. I thought it was one way, and it turns out it's a different way. That is an amount of humbleness I never expected to hear out of that man. But B, completely correct.
It's astonishing. Like, the first time I heard that, it was on the show Dialogue Matters or Dialogue Works. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, because what he means is, it's like, it's one thing of what you project and what you say. It's another thing what you actually believe. And there's this kind of question of, okay, well, are you functioning on what you say, or are you functioning on what you actually believe? And when Donald Trump put out the Jeffrey Sachs clip, and people were like, what the hell is this? Like, why is Trump putting this clip out where it's pointing out that Netanyahu is a deep, dark son of a bitch? And nobody knew how to frame it. I mean, person after person after person that I would ask about, they was like, I don't know how to frame this clip because it doesn't fit within the context of the things that Donald Trump has said or the people he's put into his administration. But the moment that you play that other clip, then the Jeffrey Sachs clips make more sense because it gets across, okay, this is probably what Trump actually believes, regardless of what he does. This is probably what he actually believes. Just astonishing stuff. Just astonishing stuff.
He walked into a situation with a preconceived notion, and everybody acted the opposite of how he expected them to. So, I mean, the thing is Trump, as much as he himself can be a blowhard, an exaggerator, the thing that he has harped on endlessly is fake news. He does not like the representation of things different than how they are, even if it's like almost to the point of it can be irritating at times, because he will get obsessed with that in cases that it may not even really apply also. But the fact is, it's something he's kind of obsessed with. So it doesn't completely shock me that going into that situation. And
now, just to be clear, that clip took place years ago. That wasn't recent. This was
but I still haven't heard it.
Yeah.
I can see, the idea of him going into that situation and getting a different. I wish that I had heard that clip much earlier, because honestly, that's astounding. Like, knowing that is rattling around somewhere up there in his head. I mean, I'm obviously that's going to be a person who is going to at least get closer to a deal there than, listen up, Jack. I just think, they're doing whatever they want over there. It doesn't matter what we say. It's like, no, like you're stumbling around. That's all you're doing, sir. Like, I'll reiterate it one more time. This guy is not even president yet. He goes over there or has a representative over there. It doesn't even matter how it goes down. I don't exactly know the conditions. It could be one or the other. But the fact is, his involvement suddenly, it's done. They're willing to put pressure on Israel, and Israel oh, hey, wait, they're a much smaller country that's massively dependent on us. It's almost like pressure on that would work.
I want to show you something else. I was laughing with my audience at this clip because now MSNBC has to deal with this kind of question of, well, wait a minute, why couldn't Joe Biden get this? Like you have all of these Democrats now that have to somehow shield for Joe Biden because Trump, who's not even president, was able to get a deal that Joe Biden, who had been president for the last 3-4 years, was not able to get a deal. And these Democrats have to deal with that fact, especially since, if you remember, the biggest refrain from Democrats, especially those supporting Kamala Harris, and I had to deal with Democrats myself saying this, well, Joe Biden or Donald Trump is just as bad on the issue of Gaza as Joe Biden. So why are you voting for Trump or not voting for Kamala Harris on this issue when it's a wash? Meaning they're even on it, they're equal on it. Kamala Harris may not do anything other than Joe Biden was doing, but neither is Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is somehow going to be worse on this issue. And so now all of these Democrats, Ari Melber, pretty much anybody on MSNBC, Mehdi Hassan, all of these people who just took it as a religious faith that Trump was going to be worse. Okay, now these people have to eat crow. And these people have to deal with the reality that, oh, wait, so you're telling me that my guy was worse? It's that one, right? So this, I want to show you.
Are we the baddies?
Yeah. So right. So wait. So it's like, wait, we're the bad ones. So this is Ari Melber, and I was laughing at this clip so hard because Ari, if I can find it, I thought I had the clip up. This is Ari Melber. So he is having a conversation with somebody that he brought on the show to talk about this issue. And he is confronted with the fact that it was Trump that was able to get the deal. Look at his face. As I was telling my audience, I've never seen a person's face actually do this in real life.
Yeah.
Look at this frown. Hold on. Let me go back to the beginning of this. All right. This is Melber being confronted with the reality that it was Trump that got the deal.
Been available essentially since the end of May. So you might ask the question, as you did, why now?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say there was a Trump effect. The Trump effect was on.
Look at his face. Look at that frown.
That's
I've never seen a person frown like that. Like it's so radically like it's so radically sad. It's like
somebody drew
if
it.
you could take
It's like a drawing.
Yeah. It doesn't even look real. It doesn't even look like a real frown. That is a real frown. That is not AI. That has not been modified. When Ari Melber was confronted with the reality that it was Trump that got the deal, this is the face that he made. This is the face that he made. It's almost like he was crafted, like somebody, like you said, like somebody drew it. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like you pause and it zooms in and the music starts bum, bum, bum,
This is the way Democrats look when they've confronted with the reality that Trump got a deal that Joe Biden couldn't get. That look.
I mean,
just
and the thing is
amazing.
he did it right away. It's just like the first thing he did. Like,
it's honest. It's an honest reaction.
And the thing is, I also dealt with that exact same thing from Democrats. Well, you say this about North Korea and he's willing to do peace talks there, but on Israel-Palestine, he's absolutely he's horrible on that. He's terrible on that. Well, the fact is he did go to Michigan, and not only did he say, I want to stop this war to the Arab population there, but he had Arab leaders on stage with him to speak. It's not just that he said something. He also did coalition building there, met with people, and then had them on the stage to speak. It's as much as all of these Democratic people want to talk about how they're about building, bridges with, marginalized communities and stuff like that. Did they do that? No, because they knew if they sent Kamala in to talk with the Arab leaders in the area, the Arab leaders were going to spit in her face because she wasn't willing to move on her position. Donald Trump is always willing to move on his position if it benefits him. And he knew this would benefit him. All he had to do was tear off a little chunk of that voting block. And he didn't tear off a little chunk of that voting block. He stopped the entire, like, just by signaling some degree of listening to them at all. And I've said this about the McDonald's thing even, but just by signaling that he will listen to some extent, he stopped a ton of people from voting for Kamala Harris that by traditional voting patterns would have. Now, whether they voted for him or not, it wasn't even that relevant. I'm sure a lot of them did. But to be clear, I mean, he ripped off the entire, I mean, it wasn't just him, of course, but in listening, he certainly made them go, you know what, why the hell are we, why, like a normal person who might be questioning their community in Royal Oak, for instance, might say, you know, I understand that this guy isn't her and she's not saying the things, but we always vote progressive or Democrat or whatever. I could understand some people in those areas saying that, and then literally having him come in, talk to Arab leaders, bring them on the stage and be like, I'm going to stop this. This is going to be part of my goals. It's insane that Kamala's strategy team did not understand how detrimental just being Biden was.
Yeah. I mean, look, man, like I said, there's a big difference when one person is arguing, I'm going to keep the war going, or I'm not going to make any differences. And they're calling you genocide Joe. They're calling you Holocaust Harris. That's astonishing by itself that you're getting hit with that.
Yeah, but
and
it was just racist to say that.
Yeah.
It's
and
racist
they
to
have
call her Holocaust Harris. Stop it.
Holocaust
She's
Harris.
a black woman.
But I guess my point is, like, and she could not deviate from him at all. Like, it's astonishing.
It's astonishing that, you know, your response to being told you're participating in a genocide when it's functionally true, even if you don't like it.
Yep.
Like, let's say she didn't like that. Let's say she was against that, like, internally. Let's say morally she understood how bad that was. Doesn't matter. Like, their response was just like, it's racist to call me that. Don't call me that. Instead of, like, reckoning with the fact that that's a very, very serious accusation. It's not like something flippant. We're not like saying she flip-flops on healthcare. That is, I mean, she does, but it's not like, you know, participating in a genocide. Like, that's Hitler stuff. Flip-flopping on healthcare isn't Hitler stuff.
Right. You would think that they would take that with the credit, the seriousness it deserves. One of the other things, for once, Anthony Blinken got told the truth to his face. For once. Because Blinken has been doing this legacy tour himself. And he's been like, yeah, the Palestinians deserve some level of determination. I like all of the things that he wasn't doing over the course of his administration. It seems that what Joe Biden and Blinken have decided to do was effectively repudiate their entire behavior, as if this legacy speech is the only thing people is going to remember about Blinken, or for that matter, Joe Biden. But finally,
I mean, for Joe Biden, it probably actually is.
Well, yes,
he's not going to remember anything past that.
Well, but everybody else is. That's the rub, because he does what everybody else does. But somebody finally told Blinken to his face the truth, and God bless her.
Children, thousands and thousands and thousands. How do you break American law? How do you do all that and then sit here and tell these people, civilized people, that you are doing what? Kill your policy for the Middle East? Kill, and kill, and kill, just like the Israelis saying. You're a brutal war criminal. We sat in front of your house for a year. You have no compassion. You are a monster.
God bless her. God bless her. Oh, God bless that woman. Because nobody's ever going to tell him that. Like, he's not going to hear that in normal circles.
Would you see his eyes the whole time? You see his eyes? I was fixated on his eyes. He clearly was bothering him.
let's go back and say it again. I mean, it should bother her. I mean, somebody
Yeah,
screaming at him,
absolutely.
effectively calling him a war criminal. She's like, you just kill, kill, kill. How are you standing here? Basically, how are you lying to us when we've seen the things that you have said, the things that you've covered for? You're a killer. You're a war criminal. Oh God, I love this woman. I love this woman. I don't even know how she looks, but I love this woman. Let's look at his eyes. He has these dead eyes when he's, dealing with this stuff, and he's coming up with his lying face.
Since October 7th.
Murder grandchildren, thousands and thousands and thousands. How do you
It's smug
break
here.
American law? How do you do all that and then sit here and tell these people, civilized people, that you are doing what?
Oh, you're right. This is bothering him.
Yeah,
You're right.
you see,
This is
it
biting.
turns right there where she starts saying civilized people. Like
Yeah.
the
You can see it.
little smug look in his eyes, it dies right there.
Yeah. Oh God, this is such a good point, Peter.
Murder grandchildren, thousands and thousands and thousands. How do you break American law? How do you do all that and then sit here and tell these people, civilized people, that you are doing what? Kill, your policy for the Middle East. Kill, and kill, and kill. Just like the
Gulp.
Israelis saying, you're a brutal war criminal. We sat in front of your house for a year. You have no compassion. You are a monster.
You are a
Since
How
October
do you
7th.
murder
She
I
said
didn't
you have
I
no
didn't notice it the first time, but he gulps. He actually
Yeah.
gulped.
She said you have no compassion. You are a war criminal. Oh God, I love that woman.
He might as well have
just stood
gone.
there and took it. Right. It's like, would somebody please get this woman out of here? This is bugging me. She said, how can you kill thousands of children? You are a brutal war criminal. You have no compassion. You are a monster. You are a monster.
I mean,
And she's like, you're standing
cannot.
there telling.
All of
No, no,
what
go
she
ahead.
said materially is completely true, too.
Yes.
That's the thing that all of these people need to reckon with. And all of these people who told us that, like, supporting these people was the only way not to have another fascist Hitler come around. Like,
Yep.
they have to reckon with the fact that they did the Hitler stuff.
Yep.
And
Yep.
whether that morally bothers them or not, I don't know, because people like him, I really can't tell you if it bothers them. But
think
it
he's a
does
sociopath.
bother them to have somebody like this talking to their face and saying what everybody in the room knows is true.
Yep.
That bothers them.
Yep. Matthew Miller needs to get that treatment too. And Patel needs to get that treatment. And Joe Biden needs to get that treatment. And Kamala Harris needs to get that treatment. I mean, she is like giving it to him and like with just rage, like righteous indignation and righteous rage. Like it's not like, oh my God, Donald Trump won the election in 2016 and he was stolen. It's not that, right? It is, you have murdered thousands of children. It's that rage. That's
It's
a
the
different
kind
rage.
that focuses you to say the exact correct thing too.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it's one thing to go and again, like, shoot a CEO. Like, that is, it's not effective in the way that I think that people think it's effective.
Mhm.
It doesn't put people on a path towards getting it. What this woman did, whether intentionally or not, she spoke with a clarity that is important in these, because we have to have a correct idea of what is happening exactly. Instead of just like, it's bad, she's not just saying it's bad. She is outlining what's happening and why
Yes.
it's bad. And
Yes.
that is not something that these people are prepared to deal with, especially to their face. They don't understand, like, in their heads, it's obviously not bad. It's the only right thing to do because that's
Yep.
what they're doing. So when we, the normal people, understand what's wrong with it in a way that they just don't even consider, it's flabbergasting to them. But the rest of us, the people who've had maybe a feeling that it's bad, just
With
don't
the
like
conscience.
the idea that it's bad. They
Yeah.
hear something articulated as well as that woman articulates it. That's important.
God, I love it. And I even love the way she started. She was like,
Yeah.
you're coming here telling us this. Like, basically, you are lying to our face, to these civilized people. You're trying to sell this to these people. You are a monster. Oh, I love you are a monster. God, I
And
love
the
that
thing
woman.
is people, when they hear it that way too, they understand, like they've heard all of these arguments on the media, like they're
Mhm.
spending all this money there. And it's true. They are spending all this money there. But they finally put two, when you have this there, you put two and two together. You think they're spending all this money there to kill innocent people. So they're making me poorer to make them dead.
Yeah.
That
killing
sucks. I
kids.
don't like that. I can't support that as a person. Like any person can't support that. And these people have nothing to say about it.
Not just can't support it. Like there is something disgusting about
It
this
is.
notion of mass murder of children. And it's like, for all of the shilling, the starvation of kids, we have babies freezing to death. They are bombing hospitals. And you get Blinken over and over and over again coming out saying, there is no spoon. There's nothing to see here, folks. Israel has a right to defend itself, even from a violent baby. Like, it's absurd, right? And there's something like over the top despicable about not just doing it, but covering for it. The Goebbels of the world who come out and tell you, well, really, I know this looks bad, but it's not as bad as it looks. Israel has a right to defend itself. October 7th. And it's like, dude, I accept the October 7th thing. Fair enough. That's horrible. But you have killed, 10 times, 20 times more than that?
It's nearly
You're-
30. It's in the
Yeah.
mid 20s. Like it's
It's
1,200 versus over 35,000.
It's astonishing. I mean, the Lancet numbers are even up to 100,000. Because
Yeah,
truth
I
is,
use
the-
those numbers because those are the numbers they used for a really long time. And to be frank, the bare minimum numbers that they were using for a long time are disgusting. It's
Yes.
way above. It's way above that at this point.
These numbers are astonishing. And yet, the Blinkens of the world went out there and covered for it over and over and over and over again without that level of pushback and without the media doing that. Meaning the media should have been doing that. The media should have been the one that's been pointing out, you guys are lying through your teeth. Now, they do it somewhat in the State Department when they're talking to Matthew Miller, but not this level of rage and indignation that should be there when you have thousands of babies murdered.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what it is. I guarantee you that woman's a Democrat. And the reason why she's like that, the reason she's that angry is because she supported it. She has been told that is the correct thing. We can only do this. This is the only course. It was disgusting. And then at some point, that woman had realized along that path, it's not. And it's terrible what's happening. I guarantee it, because the values that the Democrats espouse are the opposite of what they're doing here.
Yes.
At some point, a Democrat who is serious about believing those things is going to confront that cognitive dissonance. And I guarantee you that's what, like, it's a special kind of rage in that woman's voice. It's a woman who I think probably understands she's been lied to and went along with it for a while at some point, just because, I was angry about healthcare back in, the Obama presidency. I had watched Sicko. I had tons of medical debt. I was very angry about that stuff. And I had always kind of gone along with it prior to that because I didn't really understand it.
Right.
That's how I sounded when I was talking about healthcare back then. I was really mad because they'd lied to me.
It's like I backed you all of this time and come to find out I was deluded. You lied to me.
Exactly. I wouldn't be, and if it's not somebody who realized that they had supported, if it's somebody who's been resisting it the whole time, good on them. But to me, that sounds familiar. It just reminds me of me a while ago,
Just rage. I've been lied to. Like, I went along with this nonsense, especially if you find out after the fact Trump got a deal. Oh, man. Can you imagine that? Like, you were one of these people that was like, well, Trump is going to be worse, so you got to vote for Kamala Harris. Trump is going to be worse. While all these people not voting for Kamala Harris. I mean, Trump is clearly going to be worse. And then Trump gets the deal.
And
what are you doing?
President yet?
He's not even president
yet.
Is it just the Ari Melber thing?
Rubs the salt in the wound. The guy comes in and acts like the right president when he's not even president yet. He comes in and does the president thing that he's supposed to do. It's
Just
I don't know what
amazing.
to say.
Yeah, it's just amazing. I got to be honest. I didn't necessarily have a huge amount of faith
No,
that Trump was going to do something like this. And so, from my point of view, it's kind of like, all right, this wasn't even in my mind space. Like this
no,
wasn't
this
even
was
on
not
the
what I
table.
expected.
Yeah,
I expected him to basically continue Biden's stuff.
the only thing I really wanted Trump to do was end the war in Ukraine, because that's the thing that he kept saying he was going to do.
Yes.
And all of these people are dying and everything else. Israel, I just assumed it was a wash, because I assumed he was going to continue the same policy as Joe Biden.
Same. Absolutely the same. And the reason why, I don't care who does it. That's the big thing. This
Same
is the
here.
thing that I think that a lot of people need to start to understand. I don't care who does it. I don't care for what reason. I don't care how they do it. If
just
there's
want
a
to stop.
ceasefire in a war zone and our negotiation was part of it happening, that's good. It's you have absolutely zero ground to stand on if you're trying to argue that's bad. It can only be good. I don't care if it's Donald Trump. I don't care if I didn't expect him to do this, and I didn't. I very, very much thought, you know what, the Israel thing is probably not the issue. We can't really press him on that, because what is he going like? He's never given us any indication. Although I wish I had heard that clip that you played earlier, much earlier, because to me that it says exactly what happened here. Like, the guy understands that Israel was not looking for a deal, and he's like, you know what, we've got the leverage.
Yeah, we're going to push him into it. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. We're going to push him into it. And let me see, it was one last clip. I think this is the one that I heard the other day. And maybe not. It was something that Blinken said the other day that annoyed the hell out of me, because again, Blinken has been lying to such a degree, and he's so delusional, that I love the fact that he got confronted on it. And maybe I don't need to show it. I mean, people know that Blinken has been lying through his teeth. So they're pretty clear.
They're mad at him.
Yeah, they know at this point. They're very clear that Blinken has been lying through his teeth. So it's not like I have to show a clip of Blinken lying through his teeth. Peter, thank you for this. I really do appreciate it, man. Anything you want to say before I close on this? I mean, I hope it goes through. I hope it withstands any kind of breaches in it. These people have been killed to the tune of tens of thousands. They are saying that they're going to allow the people to go back to their homes. There are no homes. 60-70% of Gaza has been destroyed. So I don't know what the people are really going to go back to, even though they're saying there's going to be a huge amount of humanitarian assistance that are going to be dumped into the area.
Well, I think I have to echo my friend and co-director Caleb Maupin from the Center for Political Innovation. We have an event going on that you're going to be at next Monday, and something he said very much in this case is when Donald Trump does something right, we have to loudly support it, whether that is the only thing he does, or regardless of like all of the other things he does. We have to support the things that are done right, because it doesn't matter who did them. It matters that there's a ceasefire on the table. And if people respond well to the ceasefire, that's going to be something that, he's a narcissist. Like, just to be clear, this guy is not like a great guy, but he loves being viewed positively. And if people respond well to the good things that he does, he'll probably want to do more of them. We have to understand this is a good thing, and we wouldn't have gotten it with Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. Like, it's that simple. It sucks for a lot of people, I understand, and there's a lot of, like you said, crow to be eaten, but like, I'm sorry, it's happening. That's material. It's materially a ceasefire. It has been agreed to. Now, like you said, it could be that it doesn't necessarily withstand the test of time, but also that depends on Donald Trump. If Donald Trump continues to stand by it and continues to use pressure, it doesn't matter if they don't want to adhere to it. They're going to have to.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the key point. If Trump wants it and he stands by it, they're going to have to do it. He's going to want it more. And he's going to want it more if we're vocally like, yes, this is great. Thank you. Please do more. Yep. Good job. Keep going. This is a good thing. Give him
Good
credit
job,
when
Donnie.
he does well.
Good job. Thank you. Keep going. Keep going, Donnie.
Pat him on the head. Tell him
Yeah.
good, and hopefully he'll continue in the direction of doing the good things. Peter, man, thank you for this. Peter Coffin. He's a journalist with over 250,000 YouTube subscribers, podcaster, and author. In the book Custom Reality and You, they explore a world where profit is the driving force. And Peter, you also have another book out. This was The Left and Right, the Horseshoe Theory.
Horseshoe Theory is right, but not how you think. It's not
There
a
you
big
go.
book. It's actually a fairly short book. It's like $6 on Amazon. It might be $8 on Amazon. I can't remember the price, but it's a lower priced book. It's,
Yeah.
I think, makes a good point. Yeah. So if anybody wants to pick that up, and also thank you very much for having me on, as per usual. Always fun.
Oh man, I always enjoy having you on, man. I always enjoy these conversations. I always think they're fun and easy to talk to and all that good stuff. And I love your political analysis. So thank you for this, man.
I appreciate it.
You have a good one. All right. The one and only Peter Coffin. Much appreciated to Peter for joining me on the show. You can find him at Peter Coffin. So definitely check him out.